Village Board meeting for July 13th. At this time, I'd like to ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for our armed forces serving throughout the world. And also remember the Marines who just perished in that plane mishap down south. Some of them were from our local area. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start off the evening with a public hearing, actually two public hearings. First one is introductory local law number 4 of 2017, wireless communications. Desiree, could you please read the notice?
A public hearing is being held to entertain public comments on introductory local law 4 of 2017, which will amend Chapter 310 of the Village Code, amending the recertification provisions for wireless telecommunication facilities. The public notice was printed in the Times-Herald Record on July 5th, 2017.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody in the, what thing? Oh, I was going to do that after. Okay, before I go out to the public, I will note for the record that the GML 239 review was received on July 11, 2017, and they have found no evidence that any significant intermunicipal or countywide impacts would result from the adoption of this local law. So with that said, I'd like to go out to the first row. Anybody in the first row would like to comment on introductory local law number 4? Anybody in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody at all? Okay, in that case, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, Desiree, could you please read the resolution? Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Desiree, could you please read the resolution?
Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees as follows. 1, the proposed local law constitutes an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA. 2, the proposed local law has no significant adverse environmental impacts, and the Board of Trustees hereby issues a negative declaration thereon. 3, the adoption of the proposed local law is in the best interest of the residents of the village, and the Board of Trustees hereby adopts said local law number 3 of 2017. And 4, the village clerk is hereby directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and with the law book of the Village of Woodbury, and to give due notice of the adoption of said local law to the Secretary of State of New York.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to adopt the resolution adopting local law 3 of 2017.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Is it local law 3 or local law 4?
It's at local law 3, introductory local law 4.
Okay. 'Cause it's,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Trustee Mikolajczyk?
Aye.
Trustee Kraus?
Aye.
Trustee Flood?
Aye.
Trustee Egan?
Aye.
Mayor Queenan.
Aye. Okay, next up, we have another introductory local law 5 of 2017, zone change request. Again, General Municipal Law 239 review was received on July 11, 2017, and they have found no evidence that any significant intermunicipal or countywide impacts would result from the adoption of this local law. Desiree, could you please read the notice?
A public hearing is being held to entertain public comments on introductory local law 5 of 2017, which will amend the zoning map of the Village of Woodbury to change the zoning designation for property located along Falkirk Avenue, Section 231, Block 3, Lot 6.2, from IB Industrial Business to HM Hamlet Business. The public notice was printed in the Times-Herald Record on July 1st, 2017.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody in the first row would like to speak on introductory local law 5 of 2017? Anybody in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody at all? Okay, in that case, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make the motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Desiree, could you please read the resolution?
Now therefore be it resolved by the Village of Woodbury Board of Trustees that, one, the proposed local law constitutes an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, and two, the proposed local law has no significant adverse environmental impacts, and the Board of Trustees hereby issues a negative declaration thereon. Three, the adoption of the proposed local law is in the best interests of the residents of the village, and the Board of Trustees hereby adopts said local law 4 of 2017. And four, the village clerk is hereby directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and the local law book of the Village of Woodbury, and to give due notice of the adoption of said local law to the Secretary of State of New York.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to adopt the resolution adopting local law 4 of 2017?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call?
Trustee Mikolajczyk?
Aye.
Trustee Kraus?
Aye.
Trustee Flood?
Aye.
Trustee Egan?
Aye.
Mayor Queenan.
Aye. Okay, next administrative minutes. Motion to accept the minutes of our meeting held on June 22nd, 2017.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Desiree, could you please read abstract number 3?
Abstract 3 contains vouchers 170184 through 170278, and it totals $692,315.87.
Thank you. Motion to approve abstract 3.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Use of building request. The Woodbury Police Department is requesting use of the meeting room for August 3rd, 8th, and the 9th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. to conduct a women's self-defense class. Motion to approve the request.
Make the motion. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Could I have a motion to approve a request by Helen Bopp to use the meeting room on August 13, 2017, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a birthday party?
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next I need a motion to accept with regrets the resignation of Douglas Abar from the Highway Department effective July 14, 2017. Doug held the position of highway mechanic and had 27 years of service to the residents of Woodbury.
I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Fire Department application, motion to accept a membership application from Devin Smith for the Highland Mills Fire Company pending physical.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Equipment request, motion to approve Fire Department equipment request 2017-12 for eyewear ID card printer and color ribbon totaling approximately $3,093.50.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Sorry, buddy, second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of a seasonal worker. This position is paid $15 an hour and will begin July 7th, 2017, and end December 1st, 2017. Motion to appoint Nicholas Gambuti, is that how you pronounce it? Gambuti, as a seasonal laborer in the Highway Department.
I'll make the motion.
Water.
Water Department. I'll
Oh,
make the
so-
motion
I'm
with the
sorry.
amendment.
Sorry, Water Department. Sorry,
Second.
we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Neil, second.
A second. Any dis-
who made the motion?
I did. You're welcome.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Old business. Desiree, could you please read the grant submission, Wygan Hill Storage Tank Replacement Project?
This is at the request of your engineer to submit this grant. It's a resolution to approve the submission of a grant application and the execution of a grant contract for the Empire State Development Grant Funding via the Consolidated Funding Application for the Village of Woodbury's Wygant Hill Storage Tank Replacement Project.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next up, we have another resolution. Desiree, could you please read the grant submission resolution for Pleasant Drive Water Main Replacement Project?
It's the same resolution as before, just replacing Wygant Hill with Pleasant Drive Water Main Replacement Project.
Like taking a
Make the
shortcut.
motion. I'll second.
Any discussion? All in
get it
favor? What?
Let's get it done.
Yeah.
Get her done.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next up, we have new business. Orange and Rockland Gas Franchise Proposal. At this time, I'd like to invite the representatives from Orange and Rockland, to make their presentation regarding a possibility of their company obtaining rights for a natural gas franchise in the village.
Thank you. My name is John Carley. I'm an attorney with Orange and Rockland. I'm here with my colleague Vincent Galligan. We're here today to make an initial presentation regarding our request that the village provide Orange and Rockland with a non-exclusive natural gas franchise to serve portions of the village. Vincent will take us through exactly what we're planning and the time frame in which we're looking to move forward with this. We would be extremely pleased to be able to provide natural gas service to the village. We've provided folders with some material. I would note that I have been in contact with the village's attorney, Dennis Lynch, on the resolution language itself. He's had some suggestions. I'm in contact with him. The resolution isn't final, but we've included a sample resolution. I note I'm somewhat embarrassed that the resolution is coming from the town rather than the village. That's plainly something that we will correct going forward, but it'll give you some idea of what we're looking for. At this point in time, I'd like to introduce Vincent Galligan, who will take us through the materials that have been provided to you and give you some indication of what we have in mind. Thank you again for your time.
So good evening. As Jack said, my name is Vinny Galligan, manager of gas expansion programs for Orange and Rockland. We handle
Excuse me. We need for you to try to talk into the mic more. I don't know if you need to move it closer to you or because the TV won't pick it up and we.
No problem.
You're a low talker.
I'm sorry. Orange and Rockland serves your neighboring municipalities, and we have inquiries for natural gas from customers that reside within the village of Woodbury, immediately next to our facilities. This interest of Orange and Rockland to serve these customers is for customers who are immediately near our facilities with a small installation of gas main to reach a few of them, but in no interest to compete with Central Hudson, who currently serves the village of Woodbury. If you flip to the first page in the packet of maps, you'll you'll see a outline of one area of Amder Lake at the top of the Curious Joel, immediately across the border, that we'd like to look to serve. It's sort of broken down in various sections. The expansion would be precedent on the number of interested customers within gas. There's approximately 200 customers total who are immediately neighboring our facilities that we'd like to serve. Total infrastructure would be about 20,000 feet of natural gas main once it is all built out. This section would encompass 3 separate areas, and of course, to get to section B2, we would need to install B1, which is a feeder line. If you flip to the next map, it too has a similar type of orientation. There are 3 sections there that we've highlighted we'd like to serve. The first isn't as densely populated, but the next 2 are. So sort of a progressive route that we would have to take in order to serve that neighborhood. Both of these 2 maps indicate a residential area. Most of the customers here are residential, with the exception of the last map. That's the non-residential section of our electric territory that we serve of the village of Woodbury, and would be the section we'd like to serve commercial customers. We have a warehouse that's being constructed along River Road Extension or Maher Lane, and they've requested natural gas service from Orange and Rockland. We are unable to serve them, be it that we don't have the franchise here. Central Hudson is about 1,000 feet away, and it's extremely expensive for this particular customer to get natural gas, so they will likely go propane unless we're able to get them gas in the immediate near future. There's a few other customers there we'd like to serve, including the few dealerships that will be residing there. So most of this is residential. There's a small piece of non-residential we'd like to serve. And we've had those inquiries, and we want to be able to facilitate that interest from those customers.
I just have one question. How does this work with the Central Hudson? I mean, Central Hudson, is this Central Hudson territory in that area, or is it no man's land? I mean,
Well, as I understand it, at the current time, Central Hudson has a franchise to provide gas service anywhere in the village. The reason why we are requesting a similar franchise, and you certainly have the authority to give us, these franchises are non-exclusive, is that given the cost for Central Hudson to serve some of the customers that Vinny just talked about, it's really non-economic for them, as opposed to for us, where these customers edge up against service territory that we currently have. And the concern is that in order for these customers to have gas service, it would be much more economic for them to get it from us rather than from Central Hudson. The franchise that if you were to grant it to us requires your approval before we go forward with installation of facilities. So, you know, we don't envision that this is going to be the Wild West out there where we'll be, laying opposite Maine or anything of that sort. We fully expect to work hand in glove with Central Hudson in providing quality natural gas service to your citizens. Does that respond to your question? Or?
yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Galligan, there's only maps in the folder. There's no narrative of what you just proposed. Is there something in writing with that narrative that our attorney, I'm sure, will like to see something in writing about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
You can send that to me?
Mhm.
Okay, yes?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Grant has my email address.
Can we still ask questions?
Excuse me?
Can we still ask questions?
Yeah?
Yeah. So I don't know the motivation. In other words, who makes out on this? The residents and the businesses, what you're saying is Central Hudson is far away from them.
Correct.
So does the resident and the business pay for the expense of the pipe, or is it baked into the cost that they have to pay back over a 20-year period or something like that?
I would suggest it's the latter. Anyone who took service from us would be paying the same rates that similarly situated customers throughout our service territory would pay. It's not as if we would assess a separate charge to them that would be associated with this build-out. Frankly, we're in the business to sell natural gas. To the extent that we can do that, we obviously make the return that's allowed us by the Public Service Commission. As I said before, it's economic for us to do this expansion because it's adjacent to facilities we currently have, as opposed with our friends from Central Hudson, where they would have to put in extensive main to reach these folks.
Okay, thank
So
you.
I truly believe it's a win-win situation for both of us.
So you folks have been in contact with Central Hudson, and they do not want to extend pipe to these locations, is that correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
But if I read correctly then, but if you run the pipe, though, you bring it to the edge of the consumer's property, they would then have to pay
Well,
the cost of hooking up to your...
right. I mean, they would be no
amount.
different from any other customer. There's certain free footage that they would get depending on how close they are to the distribution main. But as I said, there's no separate charge that we would assess them that we wouldn't assess any of our customers. And that frankly would be something that the customer would have to determine whether it made sense for them to hook up with us.
They would have to pay that charge up front.
Well,
For
only,
installation of the line up to their house. the meter.
only if their service required more than, what is it, 100 free feet?
Yeah, so residentially, customers would be entitled, what our current customers are entitled if they're using gas for heat, and that's a 200-foot total allowance. So inclusive of whatever that extension is in the road, and then to the house, if it's under 200 feet, there would not be a charge from the company for that. Anything in excess of that, if they were to expend all of their footage 200 feet in the road, we would charge them for anything over and beyond that. If it was in the road, we would also give them opportunities to pay it over time, and that's a 15-year plan that we offer customers currently. But anything along their property, if it was in excess of that 200-foot, we would charge them.
They don't have to pay for the meter or anything like that,
No,
regardless of the extent of the pipe.
that's correct.
And again, geographically, what area of Woodbury are you be concentrating on?
So this would be at the top of Forest Road, Seven Springs Road.
So it'd be the western part of Woodbury.
There's there's three sections. So there's a Amder Lake, Millville Lane. It's about a mile from Central Hudson's facilities, but we are immediately next door. So we have customers within 100 or 200 feet we could serve right now that are using oil or propane because we can't, well, of course, cross the border. And then if we shift towards County Route 105, there's a few neighborhoods there that we'd like to serve. That's the second map. And then the third is down along Route 17 off of Larkin Drive, the Orange County BMW. There's a cell tower possibly behind that would use gas for backup power generation. And then the storage facility next door that currently is going to be installing propane because gas facilities are too far away.
See, that would be great in a narrative, so they have that information, so they have an idea of exactly where.
One more, Vinny.
Yes.
The neighboring communities, Curious Joel and Monroe, are they big customers of yours?
Yeah, I don't know how many customers you
Well,
serve.
we do provide natural gas service to Curious Joel.
Okay.
And that-
So it's
I mean, that-
immediately adjacent to this proposed service area.
That's correct.
One would almost be suspicious that they're expanding, but they
No,
probably wouldn't be doing
This has
that.
nothing to do with Curious Joel.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Is everybody satisfied?
Sure.
For now, and I think we'll probably get more information when we get the narrative.
Yeah,
I mean, excuse me, we can certainly provide that narrative within the next few days. I'll be working with your attorney to finalize the resolution. Anything else that you folks need, we certainly can provide to you.
yeah, our attorney who's handling this, has recommended that we keep this matter open at this time until they finish working out the negotiation with the agreement. So, unless there's anything else, I want to thank you, and, we'll probably, once the agreement's all worked out and the negotiations are finished, we'll probably take action on it.
That sounds great. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Just one other thing is, the maps and other stuff, we're just first seeing it tonight. And we're trying to show you, at least I am trying to show you the respect of listening to you and then trying to look at stuff we just got given to us. In the future, I would request that you submit at least a week in advance to the clerk's office, so we have an opportunity to review it before the meeting. It's very disruptive to try to look at materials and then listen as well.
Neil, I don't mean to correct you, but I did email this to you last week.
Okay. But
Sorry.
you emailed this?
We certainly,
Yes.
I appreciate what you're saying, and we'll definitely make sure that the next time we're through, you have the materials way in advance of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Remember seeing these.
No, it was,
It didn't, just to correct, it didn't have a narrative. It was just the map and the agreement. That was it. There was nothing.
oh, yeah, but
There was-
there was shades of gray. And
Yeah, there was
black.
nothing
It was
explaining it.
hard
It was
to
just
see.
the agreement and the map.
Right.
A narrative would be great, because then you would be able to read along.
And the resolution was
Right,
in the packet
right.
for the town.
Correct, just the agreement or resolution, whatever it actually, I believe it's an agreement and an actual map, but there was nothing explaining the details of it.
Right.
Okay, next up is third-party customer agreement with Lakeland Bank. So I'm going to ask for a motion to authorize me to sign a third-party customer agreement with M&T Bank with Lakeland Bank.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just, Mike, could you, what exactly, I mean, is it that M&T, the Lakeland doesn't have the capabilities of handling some of the
Yeah.
investment?
Yeah, I'll let Desiree answer it, but it's basically a requirement.
Because you're a government entity, and if you're going to put money in a financial institution, it has to be collateralized by a separate financial institution, should that financial institution go belly up.
Okay, so,
So that's what this is. M&T is collateralizing Lakeland Bank. That doesn't mean we're giving Lakeland Bank money, but this is just in case.
no,
yeah.
I mean, I read through it all thing, I wasn't sure.
It's like an insurance policy.
Right,
So,
okay.
all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Next up, we received a letter dated June 29th from the Highway Superintendent, Rob Wyatt, requesting a stop sign and at the end of Ford Avenue. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the erection and enforcement of a stop sign and bar at the intersection of Ford Avenue and Lakeside Drive.
Make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, also, I need a motion to authorize the village clerk to advertise for bids for the purchase of a 2017 Dodge Ram and a 2017 Dodge Ram 1500 for the Water and Sewer Department.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, that concludes our business for this evening, so I'm going to go out to the public. We are going to be having an executive session this evening, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. But anyway, with that, I'd like to go out to the public at this time. Anybody in the second row? Anybody in the third row? Anybody at all? Mickey? I'm good, Mike. Jess? Buddy?
Yeah, I just want to bring this up. As Mike had mentioned earlier, unfortunately, there was a tragic plane crash, and several, I believe 8 or 9 Marines from our area were perished in the crash, and Rick Walls, who heads up our senior center here in town, and is very involved with the Marines at Stewart and the Army and the cadets over at the West Point base that does a lot of work in support of the military. And they're putting together a luncheon up at Stewart Airport Base to aid some of these families, and they're looking for donations of supplies. And I believe that the town has authorized them to use the senior center as a collection center. I'm trying to find the email so I can give you the information about what they're looking for. Basically, they're having a luncheon at Stewart Airport for 300 people. And they were looking for any supplies that might be useful to help the families. Transportation, housing, meals, fellowship. I know that Jay's Deli is providing some food. They're looking for some volunteers tomorrow to help bring the food and supplies up to Stewart Air Force Base. And I believe they're meeting at the senior center at around 9:30 in the morning. So if
Buddy,
anybody...
would you like to read? This is something I have, if you want to read this. It's from Pete McGoldrick.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I was...
that's what I have.
That's what I made it for.
That's what you got?
That's,
Yeah.
Can you forward that to me?
because everything was being pulled together rather quickly. So tomorrow, they're looking for anybody who can meet at Jay's Deli at 9:30 in the morning to help bring supplies up to the Stewart Air Base, where they are going to be having a luncheon for 300 people that are going to be families, support other Marines and stuff. So if anybody can donate anything or can help, any help would be appreciated. And please keep all their families in your prayers. That's it. Thanks.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. Neil?
Just to add to that a little bit, is make sure if there is anybody going, that you have proper ID, picture ID, and stuff like that, because you have to remember this is still an active military base, and so you have to have ID in order to go on, and Rick will clear your names, anything like that. And other than that, no, and unfortunately it's a tragedy that has hit close to home.
Good point. Thank you. Tom?
Nothing, thank you.
Tim?
Good.
Good.
Mike, I'm sorry, I just want to
Sure.
add one more thing. I lost in that. I just wanted to say thank you to Doug LaBar for his 27 years of service to the town and village, working for the Highway Department. Congratulations on his retirement, and wish him well, and thank you for all his years of service and his hard work and dedication to the people of Woodbury. So, now I'm done.
Okay. Anybody want to add to that?
Well, just, I think we probably all know Doug.
No.
I don't think there's anybody who's ever met Doug who does not like Doug. And he's been with us a long time and done, like Buddy said, done an excellent job, and just a really nice person.
Thank you. Tom? Tim? You done still?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Des, you got anything? No? You sure?
Made my announcement
Okay.
already.
I wish Doug all the best in retirement, and with that, I have really nothing for this evening, but anyway, I'd like for a motion to enter into an executive session pursuant to Section 105, subsection 1, subsection F, to discuss the medical history of a particular person and the employment history of a particular person.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Buddy, second.
Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I should mention that there will be no action,
And we will adjourn the meeting at the end of that.
and we will adjourn the meeting at the end of that, which nobody's going to be here to hear, so.
Which is why we have to say that. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
He must be Orange and Rock.
You didn't leave with the rest
I know, that's why I was wondering, I brought notes down on that.
of the same. Well, good night.
Good night.
Well, you know, I was trying, what I was hitting around the edge on, which you picked up.
Yeah.
Is I started looking at the map, so, who's benefiting?